This podcast is brought to you by Three Rivers Energy Partners. In today's episode of Digest This.
Okay, wait. Citrus like oranges? They're turning orange juice waste into gas?
The plant's expected to generate about 7 million cubic meters of biogas per hour within a few years.
Yeah, they're aiming for, 10% SAF adoption? It's a start, but the potential here feels so much bigger.
Welcome to Digest This, Unpacking Our Sustainable Future, where we dive deep into the latest developments in sustainability and renewable energy. Join us in exploring the pioneering solutions and technologies that are shaping our future. Now, let's dive into today's episode.
So, Emily, it looks like natural gas is no longer just playing the middleman, just a bridge fuel, as they used to say.
Exactly, Alex. It's fascinating. We're seeing a shift where natural gas is being rebranded as a base load energy source, something foundational to meet not only today's demands, but honestly, tomorrow's too. This is driven by a lot of factors, like the explosion of AI energy consumption.
Yeah, and I mean, AI is not just fancy algorithms running in the background of our online lives anymore. It's these massive data centers consuming, megawatts daily? Giants like Microsoft are saying natural gas paired with carbon capture could be part of the solution.
Absolutely. Bobby Hollis from Microsoft made it clear that they're considering it, but only if those projects remain commercially viable and cost competitive. And that makes sense in an industry that has leaned so heavily on renewables, but finds itself struggling to keep up with rising demands.
Right, and they're not alone. BP and Chevron, they're starting to pivot too, investing less in renewables while doubling down on fossil fuels. It's a strategic move that's raising some eyebrows, though.
It is. But from their perspective, these energy companies argue they're responding to global needs, which include billions of people seeking better living standards. That requires reliable, scalable energy solutions, and natural gas offers that.
Yeah, but then you bring in the regulatory headaches. I mean, it's one thing to say, we'll double exports in 5 years, but how do you pull that off when pipelines like the Mountain Valley Pipeline keep hitting blockade after blockade? Environmental groups, appeals courts, it's just a tangled web.
Exactly. For example, that pipeline's been a battleground for years, highlighting this worsening clash between infrastructure expansion and environmental priorities. It's not just about energy anymore. It's about navigating public sentiment, legal hurdles, and even the visual. What does sustainability truly look like on the ground?
So, can we even get close to net zero if gas remains such a major player? Or is this just about buying time?
It's a balancing act. Some, like the EU, are acknowledging that natural gas might stick around in 2050, but will need to integrate with carbon sequestration or offsetting technologies to achieve net zero. Long term, it's about blending this base load power with renewable innovations.
And blending's already tough when the infrastructure fight alone is exhausting, huh? But demand isn't waiting around. At some point, we got to figure out how to untangle it all. Fossil or no fossil.
And I think initiatives like biogas innovations are showing us glimpses of a sustainable roadmap, but there's so much more to unpack there.
Exactly. If you look into some of these RNG projects, they are actually lowering the CO2 emissions for companies. I mean, at Three Rivers Energy Partners, our Tennessee and Kentucky RNG facilities are put together in a way that solves waste stream problems while making significant impacts to lower the overall greenhouse gas emissions from the distilleries we are working with.
That's right. And it's not just about that. Our approach is full circle. These projects are financially viable and sustainable. We convert a waste byproduct stream into a source for renewable energy and natural soil nutrients.
But not every biogas project is put together like that. I think we are going to start seeing a ramp-up of RNG facilities implemented in the United States in places where it makes sense to.
Homogeneous organic feedstock sources in large volumes is the name of the game. That is the setup for an ideal situation that will allow for the best mutually beneficial contracts.
It's like we said earlier, these projects need to be commercially viable. Sustainability projects don't work when they aren't economically sustainable.
I think the biogas industry has started to figure this out and find its sweet spot for advancing into the future of RNG.
Speaking of biogas and innovative solutions, Emily, have you seen what's happening down in Brazil?
You're talking about the citrus biogas plant, right? It's incredible. Louis Dreyfus Company is launching what's set to be the world's largest citrus effluent to biogas facility in São Paulo.
Okay, wait. Citrus like oranges? They're turning orange juice waste into gas?
Exactly. They're taking all the leftover liquids, effluents, from orange and lemon processing and converting them into biogas. Not only does this replace natural gas in their industrial processes, but the environmental benefits are massive.
Massive how?
Well, first, there's the cost factor. They're aiming to cut fossil fuel costs by 50%, which is huge for their operations. But on top of that, they're recycling treated water from the process back into the Pale River, supporting local ecosystems.
So they're reclaiming waste from two directions, energy and water. That's like a double win. How much energy are we talking here?
The plant's expected to generate about 7 million cubic meters of biogas per hour within a few years. And if the projections hold, this could potentially meet 100% of Bebeduro's energy needs. It's an economic and environmental game changer.
And it's just oranges. I mean, is this model only valuable in Brazil? This can be replicated elsewhere.
It's absolutely replicable. It is exactly like what we are doing with the major distilleries in the United States, taking the spent grain and transforming it into gas and soil nutrients. Globally, agricultural sectors produce so much organic waste that, with the right technologies, could be turned into renewable energy. This approach isn't just about one plant in Brazil, it's a blueprint for integrating renewable solutions into food processing and beyond.
Right, and it's not just innovation, it's practical. These industries already have the raw materials, they just need the systems to process them. Feels like the perfect storm of sustainability meeting business sense.
Exactly, Alex. And initiatives like this show us that renewable energy adoption doesn't always mean starting from scratch. Sometimes it's about rethinking how we use the resources we already have.
Rethinking for sure. But it's interesting how this ties back to industries like aviation.
Speaking of renewable innovations, Alex, have you heard what's happening at the Port of Walla Walla? SkyNRG just secured $1.5 million in state funding to build a facility that's set to produce 50 million gallons of sustainable aviation fuel annually. How exciting is that?
Super exciting, Emily. I mean, 50 million gallons. That's no drop in the bucket. And it's not just the production numbers that stand out. It's the fact that the facility will rely on renewable natural gas as a feedstock. This is like a new chapter for the aviation sector, changing how we power what's typically a gas-guzzling industry. Honestly amazing.
It is. And there's such a pressing need for alternatives. Aviation accounts for a huge portion of global carbon emissions, and finding scalable, sustainable fuel options is critical. With SkyNRG's facility right near a multimodal freight network, they're tackling not just energy production, but also logistics efficiency. That's smart development.
Totally. And you know what really gets me? The ripple effect. Governor Bob Ferguson is already saying, this will be an economic driver for Walla Walla and beyond. It's expected to add hundreds of construction jobs and create permanent roles once the facility's running. Talk about blending community growth with clean energy goals.
Absolutely. And let's not ignore the role of regional hubs like Seattle-Tacoma International Airport in propelling projects like this. They've committed to migrating their aviation fuel use to include a solid portion of SAF, and doing so locally cuts down emissions further. It's a holistic approach.
Yeah, they're aiming for, 10% SAF adoption? It's a start, but the potential here feels so much bigger. And I think SkyNRG is using feedstocks like RNG sourced from landfill methane, wastewater treatment plants, and animal waste. That just shows how circular this model is, right?
Exactly. They're proving you can create energy solutions that don't just mitigate harm, but also recycle and reduce waste. It's a template for how industries can contribute to decarbonization while staying profitable. We need more of that kind of thinking across sectors.
And it's all about collaboration too, Emily. When state governments, local agencies, and private companies come together, this is what happens. We build facilities that aren't just sustainable, but transformative, both economically and environmentally.
Exactly. And honestly, Alex, projects like these remind us that renewable energy innovations aren't a far-off dream. They're here now, and they're shaping the future. SAF might just be one piece of the puzzle, but it's a vital one.
No doubt, and it's not just about solving today's problems. It's about laying the groundwork for what comes next. I mean, if this is where we're at in 2029, where could we be by 2040? That's the type of optimism we need, right?
Exactly. And on that note, I think it's a great place to wrap things up for today. Listeners, thank you for tuning in and joining us as we unpack these exciting advancements in renewable energy. Keep an eye on projects like SkyNRG's. They're forging the path toward the sustainable future we all need.
And don't forget, folks, it's not just about the big projects. Every step forward matters. Until next time, stay curious, stay sustainable, and of course, keep tuning in to Digest This. See you soon. Thank you for listening to Digest This, a Three Rivers Energy Partners podcast. Three Rivers Energy Partners is a renewable energy company that empowers organizations with the ability to create a sustainable future by converting organic waste streams into renewable energy and resources. To get the latest episode of Digest This, or to find out more about Three Rivers Energy Partners, visit threeriversenergy.com or find us on LinkedIn and YouTube. The sustainable future is being created right now. Keep exploring and keep up to speed with the latest in renewable energy and sustainability. See you next time.